The day the bomb went off, everything changed. A blinding flash of light, followed by a deafening roar, reduced a thriving city to ashes in seconds. The shockwave shattered windows, toppled buildings, and sent cars flying. The heat vaporized flesh, bone, and metal. The radiation seeped into the soil, the water, and the air. The world witnessed the horror of a nuclear holocaust and trembled in fear. In the depths of the city, there was a flicker of life. David and his son, Daniel, had been exploring the underground sewers when the blast occurred. They had heard the sirens, but they had ignored, thinking it was another false alarm. They had been fascinated by the hidden tunnels, the ancient pipes, and the strange creatures that dwelled in the dark. They had been having fun, until they felt the ground shake and saw the walls crack. They had barely escaped the collapse, finding a small alcove where they could hide. They had no idea what had happened, but they knew it was bad. They had no radio, no phone, no contact with the outside world. They had only a flashlight, a backpack, and a pocket knife. They had each other, and they had hope. They waited for 2 days, hoping that someone would come and rescue them. But no one came. They decided to venture out and see if they could find a way out. They crawled through the rubble, dodging falling debris and leaking gas. They reached the surface and gasped in shock. The city that had been their home was gone. There was nothing but dust, smoke, and fire. The sky was a sickly orange, the sun a dim red. The air was thick with ash and radiation. The silence was eerie, broken only by the occasional explosion or scream. They felt like they had entered hell. But David and Daniel did not despair. They knew they had to survive and find a new home. They knew there had to be other survivors, other places that were safe. In search for a better future, they gathered what they could from the ruins and set out on a perilous journey across the wasteland. They walked for miles, following the faint traces of roads and signs. They faced many dangers along the way, as they scavenged for food and water in the desolate land. They found cans of beans, bottles of soda, and packets of crackers in abandoned stores and houses. They drank from streams and ponds, filtering the water with their shirts. They ate insects and rodents, roasting them over a fire. They avoided the fallout that poisoned the air and the water, and the mutated beasts that prowled in the shadows. Their journey took a toll on them, physically and mentally. David, who had been a strong and healthy man, became gaunt and tired, his strength fading with each passing day. He had cuts and bruises all over his body, and a cough that wouldn't go away. He had nightmares of the bomb, and flashbacks of the city. He had doubts and regrets, and wondered if he had done enough to protect his son. Daniel, who had been a cheerful and curious boy, became silent and serious, his joy lost in the harshness of their reality. He had grown thin and pale, and his hair had fallen out. He had seen things no child should see, and done things no child should do. He had lost his friends, his toys, his school. He had lost his childhood. They found strength in each other, a spark of hope in the midst of the gloom. They grew closer as father and son, and they supported each other through the hard times. They shared stories and jokes, and sang songs and played games. They knew they had to survive, for each other, and for the future. As they approached the border of a neighboring country that was apparently safe from the devastation, they felt a surge of hope. They had made it, they had survived. And then, as if by a miracle, they saw a border patrol station, a sign of civilization and safety. They ran towards it, crying tears of joy, and fell into the arms of their saviors. They had reached the end of their journey, and the beginning of a new life. They were taken to a safe haven, where they were treated with care and compassion. They were examined by doctors and nurses, treated and given medicines. They were welcomed by volunteers and refugees, and offered shelter and education. Finally, they recovered from their wounds and their sickness, and they felt a sense of peace and gratitude. They had defied the odds, and had risen from the fire. As they looked forward to the future with renewed hope, they realized that their journey had not been for nothing. For in the fire, they had found something precious, something that no one could take away from them. They had found redemption, a light in the darkness, leading them to a new dawn.